What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. The subject of today's video, video game soundtracks. Back in the day before my time, video game soundtracks were extremely important. It wasn't about being the most theatrical, which I think is fine. It was about being the most epic. From the 16-bit counterpart of Black Sabbath, to the epic adventure of Link taking on his first 3D adventure. Video game soundtracks were as awesome as they come. I decided to restrict this list of soundtracks to PS1 and before for a few reasons. Number one, I'm a huge fan of retro consoles. In fact, I'm going to be showcasing my current collection to you guys in the near future here. Number two, I feel like video game soundtracks have become much more grand and are harder to judge in comparison to classic video game beats. Number three, nostalgia. Growing up, I was usually a console generation behind, so my first ever console was a Super Nintendo and an Atari 2800, which I inherited, obviously, from my parents. It wasn't until I was a little older that I got my PS1 and so on. Let me assure you that I had no qualms with this setup growing up. I love the Super Nintendo and has a certain charm that can never be matched. It has a bevy of classics and a few obscure titles that mean a lot to me simply because I owned them growing up. With that in mind, let's begin. Number 10, Streets of Rage 2. The game starts up with an almost serious tone, and then you learn that Mr. X is back and the music gets real funky. After you learn that Adam was kidnapped, it's time to kick some major 8-bit ass. Even the character select screen has some rockin' tunes. Once you've dropped into stage 1, you feel the music blend magically with the city aesthetic. You'll be punching and shanking dudes left and right. Eating apples out of trash cans. And kicking dudes off of motorcycles. One of my favorite moments is at the end of stage 1. You go out behind this bar and are met with the sound of 8-bit rain. You can see your enemies towards the end of the screen and you know it's about to go down. Streets of Rage 2 is the epitome of what the Sega Genesis was all about. Number 9, Chrono Trigger. Zelda walked so Chrono Trigger could run. Chrono Trigger was a role-playing game released in 1995, and oh wow, the size of this game is almost overwhelming. The game truly wants you to make your own experience. You can go wherever you want, and the game just gently guides you in a general direction. And the thing that ties it all together, the soundtrack. It does not get much more fantasy than this. A lot of the times you'll find yourself lost in the music. Everything feels unique and it is very easy to just wander around for seemingly no reason. One reason this game was not higher on my list because it's not one that I owned growing up. There isn't much nostalgic value for me, but I can definitely appreciate it for what it is and probably something I'll invest my time into when the channel grows. Number 8, Parappa The Rapper. I'm sure this isn't the first music rhythm game ever created, but it was the first that I played on my PlayStation 1. To this day, I still have no idea how to play this. I actually played this really recently with my sister. I figured that 15 or so years later I'd finally be able to grasp it, but no. The first note is way too close and you can't see it coming.
Punch, punch, punch! Punch, punch, punch! Again. What?
I feel like I'm pressing the buttons in perfect rhythm and I just can't do it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Even with that, the goofy story and charm cannot be ignored. The music is so catchy, and you want to keep going no matter what. If you haven't played this game in a while, like myself, you'll be smiling from ear to ear with the wacky cartoon cutscene in the diner.
How about if you and I go for a little walk outside, huh? Let the punks stay and eat their food.
Stop it!
There's no need to fear. Because Joe Chin is here.
To the opening notes of the song in the dojo.
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind. If you wanna test me, I'm sure you'll find the things I'll teach ya. Sure to beat ya. Nevertheless, you'll get a lesson from teacher. Now kick.
This game will always hold a special place in my heart. Number 7, Silent Hill. Not every game on this list can be funky and cool. Sometimes you just need to be scared out of your mind. The fact that spooky, scary sounds can make this list is impressive, but you cannot deny that Silent Hill probably wouldn't be as popular if it wasn't for the sounds that make the game so damn scary. While the Resident Evil games were definitely spooky, this is... Oh my god. Wow, that actually scared me. That's insane. This game gave you legitimate nightmares. This game has you battling for your own sanity. The fact that the game that has graphics like this can really make you afraid shows just how timeless this entry truly is. The use of camera angles and sound blended to a beautiful creation. I felt actual despair, and the best part of this game is that you have to move yourself. The tank controls take some getting used to, but somehow add to the feeling of desperation. If you've never given this a try, I highly recommend it. Number 6, Super Metroid. What can be said about the Metroid series? While it hasn't exactly had regular releases like franchises Mario and Sonic, it still has a special place in all of our hearts. Super Metroid, or Metroid 3, continues the story following the Game Boy Advance game, which is pretty unique. Not even today do you see handheld systems, which are basically extinct, get exclusive titles in addition to being actual games in the main lineage of the franchise. Super Metroid is an immersive experience that obviously quite reminiscent of the Alien franchise. The game is rewarding and gives you just enough to keep going. All while that creepy music makes you feel a little nervous to walk around each corner. The sprite work is amongst my favorite in the SNES library. The visual in conjunction with the awesome soundtrack make for one of the best retro games ever made. Number 5, A Link to the Past. You knew that Zelda series was going to make an appearance somewhere on this list. Zelda is something I have come to enjoy only recently, but boy can I see its appeal. Every game in the series feels unique, and the sense of adventure has never died. The plot sees our hero Link once again fighting the evil Ganon and everything in between. Beyond gameplay innovation, the music has made this one of the best in the SNES library. I think my favorite thing about this soundtrack is that it really helps you set a place and kind of guides your emotion as you navigate the levels. The game lets you know when you should feel like exploring, when you should be nervous or expecting something, or when you should feel like you've accomplished something. One thing I've always found funny about this game is that Link finds his dead father and just hits him with the peace out sign. Number 4, Final Fantasy VI. No video game soundtrack top 10 list is complete without Final Fantasy. I chose Final Fantasy VI, or Final Fantasy III as it was known in the US. I think you could choose just about any game from the lineage of Final Fantasy games, but this seems to be regarded amongst the best. The thing I really like about this soundtrack is that it feels pivotal to the story. As the story is being told, the music helps get you into that headspace and guides you on this unique journey. Something else I like about this game is that there isn't always music. Sometimes it's just the ambiance of sounds from your surroundings. When the music does play, it feels impactful and important. I don't want to show you too much from this game because it's something you should experience for yourself. Number 3, Donkey Kong Country. This game holds so much nostalgic value to me. I played this game a lot with my sister over the years. Everything about this soundtrack fits perfectly. The tropical theme of the game seamlessly intertwines itself with the atmosphere, from the jungles of the first stage to the buzzing theme of the underwater levels. Donkey Kong Country gets it right. You can't help but find yourself vibing and grooving. This game is so unique and at times makes you feel tense somehow. The mineshaft level to this day still haunts me. The music makes you feel so anxious, and it doesn't help that you need incredible reflexes to complete it. This game to me is easily the best one to pick up on any given day and have a bunch of fun with. Number 2, Mega Man. Mega Man is kind of the poster child for video game soundtracks. As you navigate some of the most frustrating yet rewarding levels in the NES library, you'll be immersed in the music from each stage. Most people regard Mega Man 2 as the best soundtrack, but this one is the most special to me. It was the original and it stood out from any game before it. Besides the design of each stage, they all feel so separate due to the rockin' soundtrack encouraging you to go on this journey. There really isn't too much to say about this one other than enjoying this 8-bit awesomeness. Number 1, Earthbound. Earthbound, or Mother 2 as it was known in Japan, is by far the strangest game I have ever played. It seems like the soundtrack for the game was made and they just made a video game around it. There's such a change in the music constantly. They must have really taken the time to produce the music here. Every interaction is complemented by these catchy tunes. You really never know how to feel, and sometimes you just get lost in the music. And he's a spiteful crow as well. Oh no! I don't want to get poked in the eye. Yeah, screw you. I would say this game is ahead of its time, but I can't really think of any games that have come after it that are similar. I felt the same vibes from the walking simulator known as Death Stranding, but I feel way more inclined to explore in this one. To this day, gamers discuss the meaning of this game and try to interpret it. Whatever the case may be, I think this is the greatest video game soundtrack of all time. Well, that's the list, guys. What do you think I missed? Where would you place this game on a top 10 list? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for this video, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.